I want to start by today just asking a simple question to you. When was the last time you were completely wrong about something because you judged it too quickly? Perhaps it was a person, a place, an opportunity that came your way, or even yourself. Because what I've learned over the years is a lot of us see things through our own filters. Filters of assumptions, filters of fears, filters of secondhand stories that shape the things that we do and what we say. I was the same. I grew up in the beautiful country of New Zealand that is sometimes even left off a world map. I mean, come on. If you don't believe me, look online later on. In New Zealand, life is calm. It's predictable. We have some of the most beautiful coastline in the world, in my humble opinion. You have the mountains, you have the sea, and there is space between people, and nothing feels too urgent. When you grow up somewhere like that, you can think what you see is all there is. That things that people are doing, everyone is comfortable, everyone is happy. That's it, right? I don't need more. But as I got older and wiser and a few more gray hairs here and there, I began to want more. Because the thing about filters is they don't feel like limitations. They feel like common sense. What you've done for so long, why not continue that? Now, towards the end of university, I felt a shift in my mindset. Something felt a little bit off. I felt like I wanted more. More perspective, more uncertainty, more opportunities for growth. So I came to a crossroad. At the time, I could either reinforce what I was doing. Everything was working, so why change that now? Or I could choose to step out into the uncertainty and not know what was on the other side. So what did I choose? Step out. Not because I didn't like where I was from, but there was a quiet curiosity that kept tapping me on the shoulder, saying, there is more for you to explore. Maybe you don't need to do it, but you as a person have a lot more room to grow as a person if you take that step out. Now, it was year 2014. I found myself in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Very first time in Asia. Well, what I thought of the world, it completely went upside down. Everything was new to me. The sounds, the traffic, the horns, the people's voices overlapping in all directions, the smells of something unfamiliar, and the traffic, well, if you've ever been, it looked like there wasn't a lot of certainty or rules. Everything was moving like water. And I found myself quite overwhelmed at that time. But again, I chose to reinforce or step out and go for more. After a week or so, I felt like I needed to rent a scooter. For some weird reason, you've just seen all the traffic and now you want to go rent a scooter. There was a mixture of excitement and terror all through my body. I found a small family store tucked between a noodle store and convenience store. Plastic chairs out the front and an old man seated at the back, Mr. Trung, seated on a plastic stool, iced coffee in one hand, cigarette in the other. I thought, this is my guy. After a bit of chit-chat, it kind of seemed like he saw this whole scenario repeat again and again every day. Foreigner walking in, wants to rent a scooter, never been to Asia, never rented a scooter before. So we ended up signing the paperwork. I picked up an old dusty yellow helmet off the ground, and I was about to head off. Keep in mind, it was 5 p.m. on a Friday. Rush hour traffic, going out onto the main road. Before I went out, he gave me a quiet tap on the shoulder. He said, before you go, Just think about this. When you're out on the road, only look forward. Don't look back, don't look left or right, only look forward. And I thought to myself at the time, too much coffee, too many cigarettes, is this guy okay? But 5 minutes later, I get out onto the road and I understand exactly what he meant. There were motorbikes flying from both directions, cyclists weaving between cars, and pedestrians would just walk across the road with no hesitation at all. Every time I checked my mirrors left and right, my heart would jump out of my body. And then I started to think about what Mr. Trung had said before. Only look forward. So I tried. I started to narrow my focus, look at what was ahead, and slowly but surely, something within me started to change. Instead of moving against the chaos, I was moving with the chaos. My heart rate went from about 200 to 180, halfway there, but on the road. I keep thinking about what he said, and slowly but surely things started to shift. I became more comfortable. At the end of that day, I sat and reflected on what had happened. It wasn't the environment that had changed. It was nothing to do about the place I was in. It was my own filters. Me choosing to loosen them, be more open, instead of expecting things to work how I wanted them to. And it was at that time where I thought, this relates to so many other parts of my life. Further on that trip, whenever I got lost, I didn't immediately panic. When I was met by rules that I didn't understand, I didn't just give up. Before, there are scenarios where I might have felt awkward or shy, inexperienced. Before, I would have said, this is just not for me, and walked the other way. But this time I tried to walk forward, to meet that face on. And it worked. Not all at once, but slowly but surely, when you start to loosen these filters, you see a whole completely different perspective on how things can work. Now, fast forward a couple of years. I found myself in the beautiful city of Shanghai. Blurry, right? Through my own filter. After some serious convincing, my parents agreed to come and visit me in Shanghai. Wow. First time in Asia, they were coming with zero experiences, but all expectations. Stories they've heard, images they've seen, secondhand stories from others without even knowing. These were all from a distance. When they arrived at the airport that day, I saw the same look on their face that I had just a couple of years ago. The look of complete uncertainty. Again, they came with zero experience. But this time things were different. Because I had been through all of that before, my role was simple. Show instead of tell. Show instead of tell. It works. They came with the mindset of keeping to what they knew. They wanted Western food. They wanted carefully mapped out routes, taxis to visit all the big tourist destinations. But I kind of tried to do the opposite. Took them down neighborhoods, go to local cafes, watch grandparents dance in the park at nighttime. All of these things that they would never experience and they wouldn't choose to experience unless they were shown by someone. And I saw bit by bit their mindset start to change on that trip. Not all at once. They didn't just suddenly become confident and they were just walking around all the streets. But I could see a shift. And that was the same for me back in Ho Chi Minh City. The same. The confidence didn't hit me as a feeling. It starts to hit you as a pattern. A pattern of not just giving up when you meet with things that are not expected, with challenges, when you hear secondhand stories that you've never quite understood. Things start to change when you loosen your filters, look at things in a different perspective. Now, it was at that time where I thought, if I was to go back to New Zealand now, on holiday, not to live, would I look at things the same as before? Or would my mindset be different? So there was only one way to find out, really. I went back. I mean, look, why not, right? This time I went back, the same country, the same family, same places, same quietness. But this time, something felt a little bit different. Not wrong, but different. Because all of those things that I once rushed past, the quietness, the simple time with family, those started to become more meaningful and more real for me. All because of the experience I had and changing the filter I was looking at things through. Now, travel itself, I don't think changed me as a person. Travel simply allowed me to make my filters more visible. Because we've all got them. Whether we think we do or we don't, we have them. Assumptions that we inherit from others, secondhand stories that we've listened to and assume are true without actually knowing. Or maybe it's a fear that you've got, but you've never really questioned it. When we start to loosen our filters, even a little bit, we start to see things with a different perspective. We start to see things in their authentic way. And it can be hard. It can be hard to break the norm, get out of our comfort zone, and choose to step out. But why not? That's where growth happens. Because when we loosen our filters, even just a little, we start to gain a different perspective on the world and also ourselves in it. So I want to leave you with one question. What filter am I seeing this through? In your everyday life, people you talk to, places you go, opportunities that come your way. Do you have the ability to loosen that filter and meet it face on? Or do you want to stay where things are stable in the common ground and move forward from there? Think about it. The choice is yours. Thank you so much.